Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're in the midst of garlic harvest season. We've actually cured most of our garlic at this point and we're ready to get it situated for storage. One way that we do that is through braiding. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to braid hardnecks. That's coming up next. I haven't actually seen many people braid hardnecks. Hardnecks tend to be really stiff because of that scape, and they're actually not that easy to braid in a conventional sense. But there is a way to braid them and it makes it super attractive, but it also is great for storage because the bulbs are nice and far apart. There's lots of airflow around them and they keep really well active. So that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. It's a braiding method that looks more like a knot, a bunch of tied knots, and it's really cool. But we need to get the garlic ready for braiding first. So generally I leave my stalks on when I cure them. I cut them off at about probably 12 to 15 inches long and I let them dry like that. This is more than enough stock to actually do a braid. The key to braiding with this method, the stock really needs to be able to turn around almost in a knot-like fashion. So the scape needs to be very flexible, and of course it's not. If you try to take that and bend it, it will crack. So there's a little method that I use in order to actually make this nice and soft without too much work. You can see that the hardneck is really hard. If I try to bend that, it will crack. But there's kind of an easy method for flexing this up a little bit, making it softer. So I usually start about 3/4 of an inch or so above the bulb on the corner of the table, pull. And I do it about kind of 5 to 6 inches in length, and that works well for this method. So the next step is to sort through all your bulbs. These have already been pre-bent, you can see. I sort through them all. I find the one that's the longest. You can do that at the beginning and you don't need to actually take the stiffness out of the stalk of your longest. Your longest is going to act as a base for the rest of the weave, and I typically try to put the largest bulbs on the bottom and the smallest bulbs on the top. If you're going for visual appeal, I find that that actually works best. So I start with my bulb perpendicular to the other, and you can see it's behind. And then I wrap that scape around like so, down under, and twist back up around. So you should end up with something that looks like this. So then if it's up a little too far, I just scoot it down by pulling on it. So I get a good spacing. And then I move on to my next bulb. So the next bulb goes slightly above the other and goes wrapped around like the other one did. Down under and back up around. Like so. So now we should have two bulbs that look like that. Now on the front, you just see the band of the scape going across, but on the back, you actually see a weave. So we keep working, choosing the largest bulbs first, like so. And we just place it next to the other one, wrap down, back up around, like that. And if the spacing's not quite right, just give it a scoop downwards Now I assure you, once you get this going, it's actually pretty easy. Now I find it easier to actually work with it in the opposite direction like that, with the first bulb pointing away from me. And I find that that actually makes it easier for me to handle, because I can use my 2 fingers on the back to hold that while using my other hand to wrap that one around. And you see it goes in between the 2 bulbs and back up under. And like I said before, if it's up a little bit, you just scoot the whole thing down. You move on to each bulb, and you can see that once you get going, it could be a really, really quick and easy thing to do. It only takes me a couple of minutes to actually braid these hard necks now, because it is so easy. I always found that the braiding method for soft necks and onions, whatever it was about it, I just couldn't get the braid right. I'm not sure that this braiding method would work for onions, but I may try it this year just to see. And when you put that on there, you want to make sure it pulls tight around the set of stocks that's there. And I'm always keeping tension on this here. I'm holding it tight to ensure that it doesn't unravel. And that's important until you get the weave done all the way up. So you see, I just keep adding bulbs, wrapping them around in between the 2 bulbs, down under and back up around. And like I said, if it ends up being a little too far up, you just scoop the whole braid downwards a bit. And if it's not tight enough, you can pull it tight. And it's really that easy. So now I have my last one coming, and it is the smallest one, I think, up at the top. Now that's pretty much it. So you see, you can see lines here, these bands, but when you flip it over, you get this kind of knot pattern that actually looks quite beautiful. I've seen people actually weave cut flowers and stuff in here, and it actually looks really, really nice. Next step, lay it on its back. I mean, it doesn't matter, there's no real back and front, but I like the weave part showing on the front. Piece of string about 18 inches long. Come up from the last bulb about 1.5 inches. Tie a nice tight knot. I'm just using sisal twine here. Works good enough for this. You don't need anything too strong. Tie it in a knot, and then I tie a knot at the end so that I have something that I can hang it from. Like that. And then I cut off the end with the scissors, and then I come back here and I cut that up about 2 inches up, like so. And if you want to give it some more visual appeal, you could cut these guys down and kind of flare them out if you want. And it's not necessary, but something like that, and there you go. There's your braid with your string attached, all ready for hanging. You see, it actually looks quite attractive, and there's lots of space between your bulbs. You can actually go through and cut the roots off afterwards, just to clean up the whole look with a pair of scissors. I trim them down to about 1/2 to 1/4 inch. If you're going for presentation, you might as well go all the way. Absolutely beautiful. There you go. Braiding hardneck garlic. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining me. If you guys enjoyed this content, by all means, give us a thumbs up. If you have experience braiding garlic using, you know, this method, which I'm not sure what it's called, but it's more like a knot method than a braid method, you know, leave comments below. I'd be interested in hearing from you. If you have, I think that this is a great way to do it. And like I said, if you had cut flowers and stuff, you could actually intertwine them around that and it would actually look, you know, quite nice. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time.